Hey everyone, welcome to the RAM community. My name is Danelle Barabee. I'm an Assistant Dean of Students and I work in the Student Affairs Office. I want to spend some time letting you know how the Student Affairs Office can potentially support you, as well as give you some information that's going to help you be successful at Suffolk. So in the Student Affairs Office, we work with students on a wide variety of issues. And essentially, anything that potentially impacts students outside of the classroom that is impacting their ability to be successful inside the classroom are the types of issues that we help students with. So, for example, oftentimes we work closely with other faculty and staff across the institution to help address whatever issue may be going on. We also help connect students with resources that oftentimes they didn't even know existed at the university. Other instances in which we potentially could help you would be if you need to be absent from a class for a week, we could help notify faculty. If you're having grievances of any kind, we can help connect you with the right people and places. If you need a leave of absence, we would work with you on that issue. Additionally, we manage an on-call system for when there are emergencies that impact our community, whether it's impacting one individual student or our entire campus. And then lastly, we also administer the community standards for our institution. Oftentimes, in your experience, probably the first folks that you might turn to for help are going to be the N2 faculty and staff. And that's okay. But we also want you to know that the Student Affairs Office is here to support you as well. Another program that we offer is the Suffolk Cares program, and that's for students who are experiencing significant challenges. And it's a program that gives them ongoing support. It's located in our office on the 12th floor of 73 Tremont. We give not only virtual meetings to students, but also in-person meetings for students. We also operate a food pantry that's available to all Suffolk students. Now, earlier I talked about the fact that we administer the community standards for our institution. And what I mean by that are our community standards are the expectations for which we hold ourselves accountable to, the university policies and regulations. By accepting to be part of our community, you're accepting what those rules are and what the values that they're attached to. So now that I've told you about our community standards, that they exist, I also want you to know that as a Suffolk student, it's going to be your responsibility each year to be aware of the information that's outlined in the student handbook and to read that information, but also know that it's going to give you important access to what your rights are and other helpful resources across the institution. Each semester when you register for classes, a piece of that process is going to include something called e-check-in. And during that, you're actually going to acknowledge your responsibility to be aware of the information outlined in the student handbook. Another important thing about this e-check-in process is that it's going to give you the ability to update your address with the university. And what's really important about that is that if there's ever an emergency, we utilize that information to help us understand if potentially Suffolk students are impacted. And so I really encourage you each semester to make sure that we have accurate information about where you're currently residing and how we can best contact you. So now that you know about the student handbook and you know how important it is, I want you to be able to find it. If you log into My Suffolk Student Portal and go to the Resources tab that's across the yellow band at the top of the page, demonstrated here in the graphic, there's a link on the right-hand navigation that says Student Handbook. And that throughout the course of the year, that one place will always take you to current information. So while it's your responsibility to know all of the policies that are outlined there, there are a few really important ones that I just want to highlight for you during this limited time together. The first is about alcohol and drugs. So please know that by university policy, regardless of your age, drugs and alcohol are not allowed on campus and in the learning environment. When I say they're not allowed, what I mean is the possession, consumption, effects, or distribution. And when I say drugs, this includes marijuana. For context, in the US, the legal drinking age is 21. And so when you're off campus, even though this isn't a university policy, just be aware that US law is that it's also illegal to purchase, give, or serve folks that are under the age of 21 alcohol. It also means that it's illegal to supply a place for minors to consume alcohol, and it's also illegal to produce, purchase, or possess fake ID. So what's really important to know about that is that if you live off campus and you have a social gathering with your friends, some of who are 21 and some are not 21, if there's alcohol present, even if you do not provide it to the people in attendance and they're drinking, as the host, you can be held accountable for that. So it's just really important to know what the law is in the US. The other thing I want to mention around marijuana specifically is that at the state level in Massachusetts, certain amounts of marijuana are legal to possess. That said, at the federal level, all marijuana is illegal. So Suffolk, as an educational institution and an educational environment, we accept federal funds, which means that we have to observe federal law. So even though it may be legal to possess marijuana in Massachusetts, on campus property and in your classroom experience, again, the effects, possession, consumption of marijuana is illegal. I also want you to know that even though we have state laws and we have university policies that prohibit these things, sometimes people still make the choice to engage with those substances. And if you're ever concerned about the safety of one of your friends and alcohol or drugs are involved, we do not want there to be any barrier to you or someone else potentially reaching out to help, get help for your friend. Safety is always paramount. And so know that if you're ever in that circumstance, if you call for help, your friend that you're concerned about, that situation is not going to go through our conduct system. We're still going to have some educational follow-up with your friends who may have put themselves at risk, but there will be no punitive outcome. We really want to make sure, again, that there is no barrier for you to potentially reach out and get your friend help. Another policy that I just want to highlight is academic integrity. At the university level, academic integrity is taken very seriously. And so as a university student, it will be really important for you to cite your ideas and your information correctly and to proactively use resources when you are in doubt. Suffolk University has some amazing resources that are at your disposal. Please use them in advance if you're ever in doubt. And I've got some examples here of what academic misconduct could be. So it's really important for you to familiarize yourself with this policy before classes begin. As a Suffolk student, I also want you to be aware that you represent our community everywhere you go. And so as such, know that our good neighbor policy means that we follow up with students in instances where their behavior is causing some sort of disruption to our community. So please be aware of that and know that Suffolk represents you as well. Also, as a Suffolk student, I want you to know that discrimination, harassment, bias, and hate are not tolerated as part of our community. If you ever believe that you've experienced this, please tell someone. Please report it. We have a reporting mechanism. It is a simple link that you can find online by Googling Suffolk University incident report or discrimination or harassment. One of the top search results is going to come up as that search or that link. Also, this is another great instance in which you might go to a staff or faculty member or someone in our office. We would love to assist you. And lastly, I want you to be aware of the university's sexual misconduct policy. The Office of Title IX supports all students who may have experiences, whether they occurred as part of their college experience or not. The office is super knowledgeable about rights, resources on and off campus, confidential and non-confidential resources, as well as how to help students file reports, conduct investigations, and administer interim supportive measures. Again, if you believe that you have had an experience that may fall under this umbrella, please reach out to our office. We want to make sure that you're supported. Lastly, now that I've told you about all of this information and ways that we can potentially help you, as I said, we are located on the 12th floor of 73 Tremont. Here's our telephone number. Here are 2 different email addresses that you can use. We are open during business hours. And I really want to emphasize that whether you're a student who's taking online classes or if you're a student who is taking in-person classes, we're here to support you. We would love to connect with you. Good luck in your first semester with the Into program. We look forward to hopefully connecting and helping.